We're with Freo captain Hayley Miller. Hayley, pre-season starts next week.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Normally we have sort of a 6 month layoff in between, but yeah, 2 seasons in the one year is super exciting, and we made the effort to sort of get the girls away from the club so that they could have a bit of a break. So then we're all ready to roll come Monday.
Unfortunately, this uncertainty of when the season would start is a fairly common thing in the AFLW. How have they dealt with it this year?
Yeah, we didn't know for a long time what was really happening. There was talks around, an August start, which, pushes your pre-season to that June sort of timing. So we weren't 100% sure of it. We were told, it's likely to happen. So I guess the coaches and high performance has sort of tailored our program towards that. So again, like I said, having a bit of a break and then keeping those fitness levels. It's a little bit different. Normally we'd probably, deload a little bit more and to reload back to that real fitness pre-season. But this time around, we're such a short turnaround. We try and maintain the fitness as much as possible. And look, the girls, to their credit, have taken it in their stride and really, relish the fact that we do get 2 seasons in the 1 year, which is really exciting. But with a lot of uncertainty over that period, the girls handled it really well.
Heading into this pre-season, where does your percentage fitness need to be at?
Well, I think, look, there's a difference between, just your base fitness and then having some match fitness. So the girls coming off a season, you sort of have that match fitness that will hopefully still be there a little bit. Yes, you would have lost a little bit over the last few weeks, but you hope that in the first part of pre-season we sort of build to where we want to be, but we want to be firing at the end of the year. Note, you want to build and you want to have a strong start to the year, but look, we're looking to, obviously you don't want to talk about it too early, but finals and really pushing for that end of the year time. So I have full faith in the high performance. They do everything to the millimetre, so making sure that everything is tailored to getting the best out of us at the right time.
With the men's team, is this focus on how young they are? I don't think people realise how young the women's team is as well. And we just added Nikki Gore. Unfortunately, we did lose some experienced players as well, but we do have a list that is building and growing and has already been competitive too. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, the loss of Gemma Houghton and Steph Kane and obviously Maggie's a young one that we lost to Port Adelaide as well. But, to lose those girls, two of them are sort of originals as you see it. But I think the girls that we got through last season, in terms of games and finals experience and that kind of thing, that sort of stuff is invaluable. And then having Nikki Gore come in from Adelaide, she's got premiership experience. So to hear her thoughts on sort of their program and how they went about it would be really interesting. But I think developing the players that we've got, and they've got a season under their belt now, so we'll just keep pushing on through this next year.
I think it might have been lost on Verison Best night because it was your night as a winner, but with Sarah Varia finished 4th, she's such a young player. We've got a lot of great young players who could really have an impact this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah Varia is one of those players that probably flies under the radar a little bit in terms of how how good she really is. We had three Rising Star nominees last season, which is phenomenal. Unfortunately, Michaela Morrison is injured, so we won't see her next season. But to have Dana East and Sarah Varia coming through and staying on, and you're only going to see those players get better. So yeah, to see Varia finish 4th in the BNF was a fantastic sort of reward for her year.
And last week you've got to experience, I guess, what the men's program's like. Tell us the kind of things you did and if you learnt anything from it.
Yeah, so I spent basically a full week plus the review the week after in the boys program, sort of from a coaching perspective, more so than a player perspective. But to sit in all those meetings and see, number one, how it all runs, and the sort of complexity of football that they get into was really interesting. And we obviously don't have the same amount of time as the men's program do, but there's certainly some things that I can sort of bring over into our program in terms of just maximising the time that we do have and keeping players engaged as much as possible to the content that is coming out, because there is a lot of information about the opposition as well as what we need to do as a team. And there were certainly some ideas there that were thrown around about how can we just maximise the time that we do have. Luckily with the CBA, our hours have gone up, so we'll have a little bit more contact time. But again, 90% of the girls are still going to be working either full-time or part-time. So we want to make sure that we're keeping everyone fresh and not having them here, late into the night.
Who were some of the people you had discussions with in the men's program?
So I actually spent a little bit of time with the leadership group, so sat in a couple of their leadership meetings and had a chat with Nat Fife, obviously, and just around, how can we sort of maximise what we do as leaders in the space, both, in our own programs, but as a collective as well. I think, down the track, obviously COVID has affected a bit of the crossover, but down the track, exploring ways in which we can basically work together and be that one club that everyone wants us to be, but COVID sort of made it a little bit difficult at the moment. And then the other one I probably spoke to a little bit was Trav Collier. He was really great, and he's a real analytical thinker, and in terms of just footy and just the way he goes about it, I love what he does and the amount of time and consideration he puts into his game. And then the other one, a young player, but Caleb Sarong was great in terms of bringing me into the midfield and giving me some tips in my own individual game. So it was great to be there. I got a lot of things from a leadership perspective, from just a general program perspective, and then obviously individual as well.
And this is your second year as captain. What have you taken, not from just from last week, but from the last season, that you can take into this year?
Yeah, it was an interesting season, especially with going into the hub and that kind of thing, and being an expansion year as well. This off-season period's been particularly difficult as well, with a lot of changes going on. I think for me, learning the things that I can control and what I can't is going to be massive in moving forward, but trying to bring all the girls along with me and put the faith in the club as a whole, and the people that we do get in to fill some of the spots that have opened up, I think is going to be a big focus for me. But I guess for on-field, driving my standards and continuing to improve myself as a player, that's only going to help the team and drive us all forward.
And we'll be back at Freo Oval maybe in late August or early September. Message to the fans to get out there again. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, it won't be as hot. So to the fans and supporters, obviously we love your support over the years, and we hope that obviously continues. And getting down there in August, a little bit cooler, but still some fantastic footy to be played.